What's the sure sign that puppies are happy? They're quiet. In today's video, we're doing a litter update for these Labradoodle puppies who are just over 2 weeks old. And in today's video, we're going to update you on their weight gains. We're going to talk about the various milestones that they've met over the past week. And we're going to let you know a little bit about how we are caring for them all. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these are the Rayneforest Warrior puppies. And these puppies, as you can see, are all nicely sleeping. They're all content. You can see they have nice, big, round, full tummies. The only one who just woke up is Pink Color Girl here, who maybe is going to just to throw a monkey wrench in the plans here. But we'll talk about what that means as well. So these little puppies were 2 weeks old on Saturday. Today is Monday, so they are 16 days old now. Everybody's opened their eyes, and that's such a big event in their lives. More for the people than for the puppies. Because for us, we do everything with our eyes. We communicate so much through our eyes. We take in all our information primarily through our eyes. For dogs, eyes are not as important. Their eyesight is not as good as ours, although they have far better night vision than we do, and they don't see such a wide spectrum of colors as we do. But many people think that dogs see in black and white and gray, which isn't true at all. They do see colors. They just don't see as many colors as we do, and they definitely don't see the various hues that we do. So for instance, lots of times you'll see that chuck-it balls. Those are probably the most popular balls for dogs. And they're usually bright orange or orange and blue. And of course that makes them great for us to see, impossible for dogs to see if they're on the lawn. Dogs can't differentiate between the orange and the green, so that's why sometimes you think, man, my dog must be blind because they're going right past their ball and they're not seeing it. It's because they can't. It looks exactly the same to them. So how do dogs see the world? Well, they see the world through their nose. Their nose is everything to them. Their noses are so superior to ours. They get all their information, their entertainment even, through their nose. And we'll talk about that in many of our videos and explaining how when you go for a walk, how a sniffari is so important for your Australian Labradoodle puppy. So these guys do have their eyes open, and yes, they can see, but what they see is not what we see. We get all excited because when we can make eye contact with them, we feel that we are seeing into their souls, that this is how we get to know them, because that's how we work as people. For the dogs, what they're seeing is mostly fuzzy blobs. They see shapes. Now, these puppies already are able to differentiate between Reynolds and myself, but they do that only based on our scent. They don't do it because they know Reynolds looks like Reynolds or I look like myself. They just do it on scent. Now, we've been really fortunate this past week. We've had some tremendous support from our puppy families and from the amazing Quaif family. Taylor is our assistant, and when we hired Taylor, we got our whole family, which is just incredible. So Taylor's been up frequently to come and spend time with the puppies and give Reynolds and I a little bit of time to catch up on our other obligations. And so the puppies know that those scents are different from ours. Taylor's mom has been here. We've also had Sophie here. Sophie is a 17-year-old girl who has a puppy of ours. She and her dad drove all the ways up from Machosen, spent the night in Courtney, and then came and spent the entire day here. so that they could help us out and give us some time to do other things. It was great for me. That was my Mother's Day present. I got to leave the house for the first time. And then we've also had Kathy Stella over. She's one of our guardians. She came with her grandson. They took our dogs for a walk because our dogs are a little bit like, hey, is life ever going to go back to normal around here? So we've had lots of support, and that's been fantastic for the puppies because they've had lots of interaction with different people, lots of opportunities and bodies to snuggle with, and they've also learned lots of different scents. So it's been a very good situation all the ways around for them. And you can see that they're all resting very comfortably. I'm not sure exactly what time it is now, but I believe it's probably around 11. It's 11:30. Reynold just told me they ate an hour and a half ago. So when we feed the puppies, what do we do? Because as you know, these puppies are being tube fed. So tube feeding involves putting a feeding tube down the puppy's throats right directly into their stomach, right about to here, and then syringing the formula into them. Reynold, maybe you can hand me one of the syringes if you have one here, and I can show everybody what they look like. So it takes two people. One person needs to hold the puppy and depress the plunger on the syringe. This is what they're fed through. So what you do each day is you measure from the puppy's mouth into their stomach, and then you mark the tube as to the length that you have to have the tube in the puppy. And you slide the tube in through their mouths, and it goes, generally speaking, over to the left side of their mouths, and then travels right down through to their body. And then we have the formula in here. These things can be really stiff sometimes. I actually can't open it right now. And then we slowly depress the plunger to put the food into their tummy. Now already these puppies have learned that the feeding tube equals having a full stomach. They've made that adjustment from what they would normally understand as the milk bar being their source of nourishment to a feeding tube. So they come right up to it, they're anxious, they're excited for it, they suck on it, they try to get to it, they're really anxious. It is not a beautiful way to be fed, but it is not as unpleasant as it sounds. The puppies have all adapted to it readily. They started being tube fed on day 7, so they've had more days now being tube fed than not, and it's just part of their normal routine. Dogs are incredibly adaptable. It just astounds me how well they can cope with different situations. Now initially last week, whenever we fed the puppies, we also had to stimulate them so that they peed and pooped. And that is not the most pleasant thing to do as a person, and it's time consuming. And when you only have 3 to 3.5 hours between feedings, you're kind of anxious for that time not to be too long because you're really hoping you might catch an hour or 2 of rest. But the puppies are all going to the bathroom on their own now. It's great. They started doing that probably at about day 12, where we could reliably and consistently depend on them to go to the bathroom on their own. And amazingly, at only day 16, they already are migrating from where they've chosen to sleep to an area further away to go to the bathroom. About 90% of the time. Sometimes, nope, that doesn't happen, but almost always they are really good about picking themselves up and getting out of their own way. Now this is true for pooping. When they pee, that doesn't always happen. As you can see them spread out here right now, they will often pee while they're sleeping and they don't move. So when you look at them today, especially if you look over at Yellow Collar there, you can see that his fur is really crusty. It's sticking out a bit, and that's not so much because his coat is lifting, but because he has been wiped down with wipes multiple times, and that makes his coat anything but soft and cuddly at the moment. They also don't really smell great at the moment either. But all of this is because when puppies are this young, they're not controlling their body temperature very well yet. So we can't take the risk of bathing them and having them catch a chill. We definitely don't want them expending any of their energy trying to keep themselves warm. Now you see how they're close, but they're spread out. So this means the temperature is just right. When they're all huddled up together in a big heap, as they sometimes are, and I'll explain why in a minute, that means they're cold. That means they're all getting really close to each other to share the body warmth. When they're close, this is for security, comfort, because they're siblings, but their body temperature is just right. And you can also tell by just touching them. You can feel that they feel warm. Now sometimes we'll come and we'll find them all in a heap underneath the pig rail. And that's because they've done had a long sleep, and they've done like what I was saying before, where they've just peed while they've been sleeping, and so they're wet. Their whole undercarriage is quite wet, and because they're wet and they move over each other, as you just saw Orange do, they often drag that wetness over on top of one another. They also still have a very strong desire to suckle, and because that desire is so strong, they'll use any part of one another's bodies to suck on from time to time. Ears, feet, or any other parts of the anatomy that present like a nipple. I won't be more graphic than that, as we do have children watching this show. If you're an adult, you understand what I mean. So when they do that, that gets the puppy soaking wet from whatever area they are trying to suck on. And you see right now, Orange is looking, trying to find something on my leg to nurse on. So we bought some preemie pacifiers. Great idea that Taylor had. Like, let's get these little tiny preemie pacifiers and see if we use those, if that helps them feel more satisfied. So we tried it, and I posted the videos on Facebook. It wasn't successful. They would suck a couple of times, then they're like, yeah, no, this is not warm and furry. This is some plasticky thing. Blech, no. And Orange, in the second video, if you've watched it, he even takes his paw and swipes at it and looks at me as if to say, are you out of your mind, lady? This is not something for a puppy. So we do have that's going on. And so from time to time, they do get where they're all huddled up together because they've made one another wet for whatever reason. So we adjust the heat in here. We did install a heat pump in the room for the puppies so that we can be assured that they are always warm. And we can adjust the temperature up and down. So most of the time it's about 26 in here. Sometimes it's 28. But we're trying to gradually reduce the temperature, but only as the puppies are showing us that they're comfortable. The primary thing here is for us to listen with our eyes and see what the puppies are saying to us. Are they comfortable? Are they full? What's going on? So now when we were first feeding them, back on day 7, when we had to begin tube feeding them, we fed them every 3 hours. Now we've moved to every 4 hours. That seems to be doing all right for the puppies. Their weight gains are still fairly consistent. Their weight gains are pretty good. They're not probably quite as high as they would be if they were nursing, but they are definitely all within the range that is acceptable. And nobody is hurting. When we go through their weights today, you'll find that many of the puppies have already passed 1 kilogram. So that's fantastic for them to have done that by day 16. So all the milestones are being met. As you have seen just now, they're all walking around. They're actually probably walking around and moving more with more coordination and ability than usual, and that's because they have to. It's not because they are such superior puppies. I'm just moving them here because they're waking up and thinking that they should find somewhere to nurse, and we just want to try and get everybody to not be doing that necessarily while we're doing the video. And they also are getting all wrapped up in my microphone cord here because they are moving about so much. So we've also switched the whelping box. You probably can't notice on the video, but this is a larger whelping box than the one that we had them in before. And that's because we're no longer interested in having them remain very able to get to the milk bar. We're interested in giving them the option to move away from where they're sleeping to go to the bathroom. And as I said, they're doing that very successfully. Everything is, as you can see, layered with pee pads. We go through a massive number of pee pads, paper towels, and wet wipes every day. And Reynold, if you could hand me some paper towel, because Yellow is just going to the bathroom over in the corner there, and we'll clean that up so everybody doesn't walk through it. So there's a lot of cleanup going on at all times. Now the other thing that we have done is we have introduced a probiotic to their diet. Now this probiotic is all natural. It is designed specifically for puppies. It's for puppies and for any animals that are under stress. And it's called Benebac. And it just comes in a small, thanks Reynold, a small syringe. And so in the morning when we do our first feeding, where we weigh them, determine how much they're going to eat for the day, we give them the Benebac. And I just squeeze a little bit onto my finger and put it onto the roof of their mouths. So this just helps them deal with the fact that they're eating a formula. Now the formula that they have, we make. Well, we, when I say we, that means Reynold. It is a formula that was developed by breeders of Labradors, I believe, at some point. And it is much superior to the canned formula called Espalac. Espalac is mostly full of chemicals and doesn't have anything really remotely resembling quality food. It's sort of the kibble version of puppy formula. They're all going to wake up and show you how well they poo now, which is not necessarily what we usually have in our videos, but that's okay. Puppies do poo. They do make a mess. They do smell when they're little. It does happen, and we clean up after them. One of the key indicators of health for a puppy is their poo. So we really need to see their poop and make sure that everything is all right, that it's the right color, the right consistency, the right amount, all of those things. Breeders live and die by what their dog's poo looks like. So another reason perhaps why you never want to be a breeder. But in any event, it is an important thing that they are pooping regularly. Thanks. This is one of the wet wipes we use. This is just a baby wet wipe. It's hypoallergenic. Again, it has as few things in it as possible because their skin is very sensitive. So we just wipe their bums for them. And if they've happened to walk through something, then we wipe off their feet. Because ideally what we don't want is them ingesting anybody's poop anywhere, if we can help it. So the formula is made from crema yogurt, which is 10% fat. There's only one brand of yogurt that makes 10% fat, and it's plain yogurt, of course, and evaporated milk, some corn syrup, some sterilized water, and egg. Is that everything, Reynold? Did I get it all? So that's what we make. Right now, I believe Reynolds making 4 batches a day, pretty much. Sometimes 5 now that the puppies are all eating quite a bit more. And you take the formula, you whip it all together by hand, and then you keep it in the fridge, of course. When it's time to feed, we pour it into a measuring cup, put that inside a big bowl, put boiling water over that, stir it to warm it up, test it on our wrist just like you do with baby formula. And so it's a process. So when we're feeding the puppies, there's about an extra half an hour involved with getting all of the food prepared, and then we have to sterilize everything before and after having fed everybody as well. So it takes a long time, and unless somebody is here to help, then it does mean that we don't leave the house, which is totally fine. It won't be long, and they will be starting on some solid food. Now, technically speaking, at 3 weeks, we can introduce some solid food to them. So we'll see how they feel. And then when we do, that will be goat's milk and plain rice pablum. We'll give that a try and see if they're ready for it or not. If they are, terrific. If they aren't, then that's just fine. We'll just wait until they are. By week 4, they should be fine with lapping up food. And then by week 5, we should be able to have them eating some canned food and raw food. So that's where we're at. Nutrition is the most important thing that's going on with the puppies right now, more important than almost anything. Of course, all the other things where we spend time with them, the normal sort of things are also still key, but our main focus right now is on keeping them well fed. So now, what would we normally be talking about at this point? Well, what we would normally be telling you about is choosing a vet, a trainer, and a groomer. These are 3 really important partnerships that you're going to have for the life of your puppy. If you have not already found a vet and you're getting a puppy from this litter, please begin right away. Vets are in extraordinarily short supply. It's hard to find one. You may not be able to get one who's in the location right where you're hoping for, or perhaps the one that is exactly the one that you like the best. Just go find whoever you can for now and then get yourself on the waiting list for your preferred vet. We're going to send you a little video about this later in the week. Please recognize that this video was made many years ago when there wasn't this shortage, and you could pick and choose as to who you wished for all of your dog support people. The other thing is your trainer. If you're on Vancouver Island, the 2 that we really recommend is, first of all, Taylor, our assistant, who is a certified puppy trainer. So she will usually run group classes up and down the island through her business, which is called Positive Results. And then the other one is located in Brentwood Bay, and that is Communicanine. Communicanine has had many Van Isle Doodle puppies go through their doors. So they're very familiar with our puppies in particular and ALDs in general. So when you're looking for a trainer, you do want to make sure, first of all, they know what an ALD is and that an ALD is not a Labradoodle and is not an Aussie Doodle. You want to be sure that they understand the particular training needs that ALDs have and how to approach them. And then go to one of the puppy classes, sit in on one of those and observe and determine, is this a place you are going to be happy in? Is this environment comfortable for you? Is it clean? Is it run professionally? Is everything happening on time? You know, all those basic sort of things. And primarily what I would suggest is that you post on our community page and ask for recommendations for a trainer in the area that you live in. Just say, hey, my name is, I'm getting a Rayneforest Warrior puppy. I live in Port Moody, wherever you live, and I'm looking for trainer recommendations. The people, our own families, are our very best resources for this type of information. Similarly, when you're choosing a groomer, usually if I get tears, it's because somebody's had a disaster at the grooming parlor and somebody's poodled their doodle, or the dog has ears down to here like a Cocker Spaniel. You'll get a grooming guide from me that you can show your groomer if you're not happy with what your puppy looks like. But again, ask on the community page and get recommendations there for your area. Many groomers have a very long wait list, so I would suggest that you start booking your puppy in now. You'll want to have your puppy go for what we call just a tidy up, where they're going to clean up the hair around their eyes and give them a sani trim on their bum. And you can do that at about week 10 or week 12. Somewhere in between there is when you're going to want to do that. Otherwise, the hair on their ears is going to get, or on their ears, on their eyes is going to get too long, and they're not going to be able to see. When you see pictures of ALDs with hair growing over their eyes, it's very cute. Yeah, that's a fun look, but it's really scary if you're a puppy. If you've got this in front of your face and you can't see anything, it's not a look that I am fond of at all. Similarly, I do not like the long ears. That is not how an ALD is supposed to look. ALDs have extraordinarily short clipped ears that are steeply angled and blended into the side of their head and neck, and there is no great amount of fur on them. Great big long hanging down ears are what Cocker Spaniels have, not ALDs. But it's your dog, and you should have your dog look the way that you like, not the way necessarily that I like. But if you post me a picture, you'll probably get a comment from me asking if that was what you were looking for. So that's our update for this week. Coming up, we're probably going to find that the puppies are starting to be able to get out of the whelping box. They're already climbing up onto the pig rails, so it won't be long before they go from the pig rail over the guardrail. We do have a little extra panel like this that we can slide in to confine them to the box so they stay safe. And then after that, we will open things up, and they'll be able to have free run and start being able to move about at will. So let's go through the puppies now. We'll talk a little bit about their weights. Reynold, if you could hand me the sheet there. We weigh the puppies every morning on their second morning feed. The first morning feed is either at 5 or 6 a.m. And usually we're too bleary-eyed ourselves at that point, so we wait, and we do it at the second feeding time. And then from there, we take their weight, and we have a chart that tells us how many meals of food they need to eat each day. And then we divide that by the number of feedings, and then that's how we know how much to feed them each time. So our first puppy is Red Collar, who's right here. Red would be a gleaming ebony girl if she wasn't so dirty. So nobody has any gleaming coats. Can't show you any shiny coats, but I can show you lots of crunchy coats. And if she wakes up, she's going to show you her eyes. Now, all puppies are born with blue eyes. These dogs are all going to change into dark brown eyes, and then orange and green may end up having more of a hazel colored eye. But basically, these guys are all going to have dark brown eyes, and Red's not going to show you her eyes. Apparently, she's not going to be very helpful for the camera. And Miss Red is now 1.05 kilograms. So she's doing pretty well. Her weight gain is not bad. Yesterday she weighed 960, so that's a decent amount of weight for her to have gained overnight. We're really quite happy with her development, and as you can see, dirty or not, there's a nice big hefty tummy there. So she's a solid, well put together puppy. Next we have Yellow Collar Boy, and Yellow Collar Boy is our chocolate boy here. He probably looks worse than black. I think it's more obvious on the brown coat. He's very crunchy right now. Hey buddy, you gonna show your eyes? Maybe everybody's gonna keep their eyes shut and be just big meanies and stingy about showing them. I'll see if I can get him to open them. Brown does pretty well with his feeding. He has gained quite nicely, not quite so well as Red Collar, but still well within the acceptable range. There's nobody is below the acceptable range, so we don't have any worries about that. So Mr. Yellow is now 830 grams, and so Miss Red is the second biggest puppy. Orange is the biggest puppy, and the smallest puppy is Burgundy Collar. So nice weight. This is a really pretty puppy. Even though he's dirty, he is very pretty. And again, you can see there's no shortage of roundness there in that tummy. There's really good body condition. Everybody's well hydrated. There's nothing sticking out, so really absolutely no concerns there. Orange color is down here, and you can see he is often upside down like this because just look how wide this puppy is. Oh my golly, this guy is such a bruiser. Look at how big his feet are. This is a big puppy. Mr. Orange weighs 1.09 kilograms. Hi. Do you want to open your eyes for anybody? Everybody's so tired. There we go, finally. Somebody's going to show off their eyes. Thank you, Mr. Orange. This guy is a doll. He's so sweet. He's so quiet. He's the easiest going puppy by far out of the litter. Always very easy to work with when it's time for feeding. Just a really gentle, easygoing kind of guy. He's going to be our gentle giant, I'm sure. After that, we have Pink Collar Girl, and she's right over here. She too is our, I guess we'll call her dull ebony right now because of all of her crinkliness. Again, we got that nice big tummy there. We'll see if she's going to share her eyes at all. There we go. I saw a little flash. I saw a little flash. They still can't hear. You can hear me talking to them, but they can't hear anything I'm saying yet. And Pink Collar Girl is 840 grams. So she's doing pretty nicely. She's a little bit slower in her weight gain. She was 780 yesterday. So she's just taking her time. She's going to keep her figure, right? Oh, yeah, that's what you're up to. That's Miss Pink. Then we have Silver Collar Boy. And Silver is right here. Now, this morning, funny story, when we were feeding them, this is his collar. When it was at 5 or 6 this morning, I can't remember which one it was, I picked him up in yellow collar's term because his collar is so filthy. So the ends of it there, whereas inside it's obvious that he's silver. So everybody's going to get their collars changed again today. And there he's showing you his very pretty eyes and his big pink tongue. And Mr. Silver is 850 grams. He and Pink are almost consistently at 6% weight gains each day. 6% is fine. Anything over 5 is fine. 10 is stellar. So you don't get the big prize for that, but he's doing fine, consistent, no change. That's what we're looking for, is a nice, steady weight gain. Then we've got Green Collar, who I just put behind my back, because Green Collar is absolutely obsessed with sucking on things. Yes, Mr. Green, with your beautiful face, and look at those eyes and your never-ending need to put something in your mouth. Mr. Green is 820 grams. So you see we have a cluster all around that, anywhere from 810 to 850. See, now he's going to try and suck on my neck. Oh, I got to tell you a story. When Lori Taylor's mom was here on the other day, can't remember which day, she was cuddling him and he found a spot on her chin. She went home with a giant hickey on her chin because she just let him suck away. Oh my goodness, I tell you, the suction that comes out of these guys is incredible. So that's Mr. Green coming in at 820, same thing. He sort of averages around 7-ish% of his body weight each day. I'm going to tuck him behind me again so he doesn't get himself into trouble here while we're talking. Then we have Purple Collar Boy. This is Purple Collar Boy. He also sometimes is just mad about sucking, and you can see he's a really roly-poly guy. He's a nice puppy. Love this guy. Very handsome. And he is 1.01 kilograms. So he's the third puppy in that 1 kilogram range. And yesterday he weighed 890. So he's coming along and making fairly big gains. And if you're curious as to how much they get fed each time, so for Orange, it's 47 mils at the most, and the smallest one is Burgundy, who we're just going to look at now, and Burgundy's is 35 mils. And Burgundy Collar is right over here. Hello, sweetheart. Green's making a beeline for him or anybody he can get to. Mr. Burgundy, rather. Oh, this is just the sweetest little puppy. Love this guy. Nice, petite little fellow, but still decent sized feet. And he is 810 grams. So that is all the puppies. That's our update for this week. Thank you so much to our families for your patience in allowing us to wait till we got settled a bit in our minds before making the video today. We appreciate your patience and of course your support, and we'd love to hear from any of you, all of you. If you'd like to drop a comment, otherwise a thumbs up would be appreciated, and we'll see you all in a few days for our week 3 update. Thank you so much for watching.